Hey guys, welcome back to Tech News Day.
We talk about Amazon on this show a lot because, well, they're obviously one of the biggest companies on earth, and they probably deserve the most credit for how much e-commerce has disrupted traditional physical shopping. On top of that, they got their little claws in streaming online video, groceries and food delivery, consumer tech gadgets, cloud data storage, and more. Now, on the one hand, they're providing consumers with competitive prices. On the other hand, they're looking more and more like a stereotypical big evil corporation.
But is Amazon evil? Do they mean to do us harm? Well, at the very least, it turns out they've been making it way easier for terrorists and criminals to manufacture bombs. Whoops. You know when you look at a product page for, say, a video game console, and then down a little further, there's the frequently bought together section allowing you to also add a controller or a game to your cart with one simple click? Sure, we all have.
Yeah.
Well, a recent news report on the UK's Channel 4 showed that the same is true for chemicals and raw materials that can be combined into dangerous homemade explosives, like the ones that were used last week in London. Combining those and making a bomb would be the goal of these people on Amazon that are using it for. This one, however, was so poorly constructed that it didn't end up killing anyone, but it injured 30 people, and it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah. That attack is still under investigation, so it's not known if the bomb's ingredients were purchased through Amazon. It's certainly unnerving, though, that all of the key ingredients for such a bomb could be added to an Amazon cart in one click thanks to Amazon's purchase algorithm basically saying, "Hey, it looks like you're trying to build an improvised explosive device. I can help."
Yeah, who needs the anarchist cookbook?
Yeah.
The ingredients are right there.
It's all here. We'll help. Also, the fact that these ingredient combinations are being suggested as frequently bought together in the first place is fucking terrifying because that means enough people have already actually bought all those ingredients together to make Amazon's algorithm even suggest that in the first place.
Especially since a lot of the time these are simple household ingredients which you'd expect to be frequently bought together with other products related to their actual household purpose. And when Channel 4 started looking at ingredients for making thermite, which is used in firebombs, a single Amazon product page for one of the ingredients linked to all of the other necessary ingredients, including ball bearings, which are used as shrapnel in a lot of homemade bombs. Gizmodo looked into the topic themselves this week, finding that looking at a certain agricultural chemical on Amazon suggested also buying aluminum powder, which together makes something similar to TNT. Whoops. The product page for a filter reagent whose key ingredient can be combined with glycerin for explosives, of course, had glycerin suggested.
Thanks.
The algorithm's working.
Working
Just
well.
not how it was probably hoped to be designed for. Gizmodo also says that they found a few examples of product suggestions that added up to Schedule 1 narcotics.
Thanks, Amazon. Now, okay, obviously, if these ingredients are available on Amazon, they're also available in hardware stores if you know where to look. And if you're a terrorist, you're probably not learning your bomb-making techniques from Amazon.com. Still, though, stores here and in the UK that sell these kinds of products, they usually have a flagging system for detecting suspicious purchases. It's the reason that you can't buy 5 gallons of cough syrup from the pharmacy.
I'm just really, really sick and I want to get high as oh, sorry.
Sir, no one's that sick. You're probably cooking meth. We'll sell you the one, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, while having these kind of red flags in place, it helps prevent idiots from making bombs and meth. There's nothing to stop a more diligent bad guy from just picking up one item at a time from various shops around town.
Still, though, we'd argue that in the very least, Amazon's algorithm-generated product pairing suggestions for making explosives and hard drugs are in poor taste. And they should probably do a little bit of human review of the situation. These specific ingredients probably should have a human interaction on them when looking at the things that they're bundled with.
Oops.
Yeah. Oops. Finding out how to make a lot of this dangerous shit, it's not very hard on the internet. I think you can still buy the Anarchist Cookbook on Amazon.
You can find it on... no, they stopped selling it, at least in the UK, after the 2005 attacks. Like, the UK government was just like...
There's no reason to have
guys?
Well, the guy who created it is extremely remorseful, or he was. He passed away.
Man,
there's a great documentary
bombs
about
were cool in the 70s.
There's a great documentary about his regret for writing the book. Now, anyways, back to this. If you Google thermite, which is actually legal here in the U.S., among the first few results are articles on WikiHow and instructables on how to make it at home. For stuff that raises more serious red flags, you'll have to dig a bit deeper, but again, it's really not hard to find. It's the fucking internet. We gotta imagine that the NSA and FBI are aware of that, and they're probably monitoring traffic, or it could just be a giant honeypot.
Yeah.
Might be the case.
Careful
HowToMakeBombs.com. Hey, you got to tell me if you're a cop.
Pretty sure the law says if you're a cop, you have to say so.
That's actually not the law. So if you're thinking that, you're wrong. Nope. Now, for Amazon, though, this kind of thing, while inadvertent, is simply bad optics. And they've said that they're reviewing their site in the wake of Channel 4's report. So there you go.
There you go. Mm-hmm. All right. In similar news, to the surprise of basically no one, it turns out that Facebook, Twitter, and Google AdWords is targeted advertising platforms, which also don't have a whole lot of human review.
It's too expensive, Elliot. How are we supposed to afford it with our millions of dollars?
Yeah, so they've all been allowing sponsored posts to target users using keywords like Jew hater, how to burn Jews, history of why Jews ruin the world, and then various racial slurs like the N-word. This was first uncovered by ProPublica last week in an article about how they tested this out on Facebook and had their promoted posts targeted at anti-Semites approved in just a few minutes. A few days later, they reached out to Facebook about it, and they fixed the glitch right away.
I love how in the screenshot, though, it's like, great choice.
Yeah.
This is perfectly targeted.
Yeah.
The problem here is that Facebook uses a ton of AI to make it a super effective platform for targeted advertising. It would be expensive and virtually impossible for human employees to go through the profiles of Facebook's 2 billion users to map out popular keywords and how they relate to each other. So an AI does it, and it does it fairly well. AI, however, it's not great at nuance or moral decision making. So when it notices trends among users who spout racist garbage all over their feeds, it places that info right alongside trends about people who like jogging.
We all like things.
Yeah. It even organizes it into convenient little categories for targeted ads like the aforementioned Jew hater and how to burn Jews.
Yeah.
So that, people can...
These are ad categories being supplied by Facebook, by the way.
Which is insane.
The AI has organized it into a category, would you like to target Jew haters?
We got them.
Yeah. And to be fair, when ProPublica received a tip that Jew hater and the rest were actually ad categories that were being offered up by Facebook, the number of people in each category was in the low thousands and therefore too small for Facebook to allow ads targeted specifically at them. But Facebook's algorithm is super helpful. So in order to make the targeted group for the ads big enough that they, could be allowed, they offered suggestions for expanding the pool, like Second Amendment, because apparently Jew haters on Facebook are also usually quite into owning guns.
Yeah, and that's talking about it all the time.
Yeah. Instead, though, ProPublica, they just tested out the autofill suggestions by typing in the word Jew followed by the letter H, and that's how they got how to burn Jews and history of why Jews ruin the world. And then they typed in Hitler, and they were suggested Hitler did nothing wrong.
The classic meme. Again, all these targeted groups are really small, some with less than 10 users tagged to them, but Facebook lets you just stack these on top of each other, so with enough of these keywords, you can reach a decent-sized audience of terrible pieces of shit. They also found similar categories with users numbering in the thousands, like Nazi Party, and German Schutzstaffel, aka the SS, and when Facebook said the targeted pool of users was still too small, ProPublica topped it all off by adding people interested in the National Democratic Party of Germany, or NPD, a far-right ultranationalist party with a much larger viewership of 195,000 viewers.
And send. A couple days later, ProPublica received the results of the campaign, which, to be clear, it was simply promoting a completely unrelated article of theirs, but to some very anti-Semitic hombres. And it turned out their ad had reached nearly 6,000 people, it had generated 101 clicks, and it had gotten 13 engagements, aka likes and shares and comments. So it works.
Yeah.
That's when they contacted Facebook and got a vague statement about how they fixed the glitch, and these kinds of ad campaigns, they're really rare and uncommon, guys. I don't see what the problem is.
Yeah.
Except, turns out, they hadn't really fixed the glitch because on the day that ProPublica's article was posted, Slate tried the same thing with similar keywords, different keywords, but similar, and they found categories like killing Hajis, Jew killing weekly magazine, kill Muslimic radicals, whatever the fuck that is, Ku Klux Klan, the neo-Nazi code 1488, and also various categories that involved rape. And they successfully published a Facebook ad with those target categories that was approved in just 1 minute.
Upon hearing the news, Joshua Benton of Harvard University checked to see if you could do similar things with Google AdWords, and yeah, you can. More easily, actually, in fact, because Google doesn't make you choose from categories chosen by an AI. It lets you make anything a keyword. And then it helpfully offers suggestions for other search keywords. He tried out the same keywords ProPublica used on Facebook and received suggestions for other anti-Semitic keywords like we hate Jews, Jews getting burned, everyone hates Jews, Jews in an oven, and more with... Yeah, what a helpful
Here you go.
ad platform.
Looks like you're trying to target
I
anti-Semites.
guess the adpocalypse doesn't really exist.
It exists for some of us.
Yeah.
And just for good measure, the Daily Beast then looked into how easy it would be to do something like this on Twitter. And oh my God, I'm so shocked. It was really, really easy.
Yeah.
You could even target ads at users who liked using racial slurs like wetback and the N-word a lot. Twitter quickly responded to the Daily Beast article saying that in this case, there had been an actual glitch. Those terms had been banned from ad campaigns for years, and I don't know what happened. But we gotta say, we're a bit skeptical, Twitter.
Why would people go and call out our ad platform like this? Don't they know we need money?
Yeah. Even if they're not lying about it being a glitch, Twitter's search abilities from just the user side make it really, really easy to spam targeted bullshit with bots if you really want to, and that's a problem they still struggle to do anything about. Even if it's not an ad, you just search for the N-word in the actual search field, and you send your bot army after all those people, you're good to go.
Now, it's at least worth mentioning that the main reason ProPublica even looked into this recently was because Facebook... Hold on, everyone. Buckle up. I don't think we've reported on this before,
we
right?
haven't.
Yeah. So Facebook, because of this whole Russia investigation, admitted that during the lead up to the 2016 election, they sold a lot of targeted political ads to Russian entities tied to fake accounts and pages. Facebook's chief security officer claims that it was around 3,000 ads worth about $150,000, and they'd been ads not about specific candidates, but mainly about wedge issues like immigration and gun rights. Of course, this plays into the ongoing, extremely complex investigation into Russian meddling in the election, specifically questions about the extent of the interference and whether or not it was done in coordination with people in the U.S.
So yeah, now Facebook is part of that whole Robert Mueller special investigation. Twitter also, apparently. They came out a few days later and they're like, we're sorry too.
We did it as well.
There's rumors that the investigation team is not very pleased with Facebook because Facebook might have knowingly withheld information when previously questioned by Congress about all of this. There's also rumors that Twitter is or will soon be roped into the investigation as well. It's mostly rumors, though, and the main reason for that is that Robert Mueller and his team seem to be the only people working in the U.S. government right now who aren't constantly leaking their own information to the press.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait for any definitive answers, and we'll probably have to wait a while. But boy, is the book and eventual movie going to be fascinating.
I want a 4-season-long Netflix series.
4 seasons?
And a movie. Oh, my jokes are streets ahead. In related news, the U.S. government has banned federal agencies from using Kaspersky. Sorry.
Yeah.
Now, in related news, the U.S. government has banned federal agencies from using Kaspersky cybersecurity software over fears that it could be used as a backdoor for the Russian government, which sounds paranoid, but this has been a concern for years and rests mainly on the fact that a lot of key people at Kaspersky have really close ties to the Russian government. Though that's true of pretty much every big company in Russia because it's an oligarchy and that's how oligarchies work. But Kaspersky specifically has close ties to the FSB, Russia's main intelligence agency. It would not be a stretch of the imagination for the FSB to make Kaspersky do shady shit for them, whether Kaspersky wanted to or not. So getting that software off U.S. government computers, probably a good move.
Probably good, yeah.
Better safe than sorry. Yeah. What could go wrong?
Yeah. You know, let's just be safe.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of being safe, it's time to pay the bills with a quick word about this week's sponsoring advertiser. It's Bluehost again. They are a top-rated website provider who powers over 2 million websites, and they've got everything that you need to build the website that you've always wanted with the freedom to design your site your way without being limited by templates.
It's simple enough for beginners and powerful enough for even the most advanced users, and with fully customizable templates and third-party app support, you get total flexibility and control. Plus, with a 99.9% uptime guarantee and automatic updates, it's truly reliable and offers maximum security, including malware monitoring and protection, and also automatic secure WordPress installs.
And with Bluehost 24/7 tech support, online resources, and expert services, you'll have all the help you need to succeed and save time. Bluehost has been the top recommended WordPress host site since 2005, and now our listeners can save 50% when you go sign up by going to bluehost.com/tech2s. That's TECHTUES. Again, that is bluehost.com/tech2s.
All right, now we've covered terrorism, hate speech, cyber warfare. Maybe it's time for something a little more lighthearted. Now, we all love to laugh at how tragically out of touch the Silicon Valley startup world is, and last week we were treated to a big bowl of Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude. When one new startup shot itself in the foot right out of the gate. Let's get Phil in here to tell you all about Bodega.
You guys know what bodegas are, right? Those little corner stores you find in cities that have everything from pantry items to fresh sandwiches to cigarettes to porno mags. Folks love these unfiltered, dingy corner stores because they have soul and they're like beacons of the rich cultural tapestry you find in densely populated areas. Sometimes a startup takes the world by storm when they announce their product. Other times they crash and burn and manage to piss off a bunch of New Yorkers.
Hey!
Enter Bodega, a company that wants to put little automated boxes full of food and items all over cities and let you purchase items with your phone. No human interaction, just a quick, easy transaction. Boom, push some buttons, send some data, take the thing or the things you want home. Well, people in New York and San Fran and just all the fuck over hate this idea and hate the two dudes who started this company. Cultural appropriation, they scream. The term bodega is stolen from the Latino community and you're using it inappropriately, they cry. Others got out their pitchforks and torches because these two dudes are trying to kill and they're trying to replace actual real bodegas with these soulless robot boxes. If you listen close enough, you can hear a guy in Brooklyn just claiming these robot boxes can't make a sandwich at 4 a.m. like his favorite real bodega. Do you hear him? He's got beard wax in. Eric Yaverbaum from HuffPo had this to say. The problem, of course, is that we already have something simple, easy to use, and easy to access. Actual, literal brick and mortar bodegas. Bodegas are cultural institutions in places like New York, Los Angeles. Important parts of local infrastructure and society as thick on the ground as taxicabs. Oh, you mean the beloved taxicab cartel? You mean the one that's been hated by many and usurped and practically replaced by rideshares, Lyft, and Uber? Ask anyone about the experience they've had in a disgusting yellow cab versus a less disgusting rideshare, and 9 out of 10 of them are probably going to prefer the rideshare. So what? The creators of Bodega are creating something that disrupts the convenience store business model a lot like rideshares are disrupting taxis. And I don't see a problem with that. I see a problem with the response from the creators. The guys who made Bodega, Paul McDonald and Ashwath Rajan, a couple of Google vets, could have avoided this whole mess if they called their company something dumb like Food Box or Pantry Town. But they didn't, and now they're in full-on apology mode. It's super 2017, check this out. Here's a quote from Paul McDonald, one of the guys who probably wants to replace your dog with an automated box full of dog organs because he's a dick. Challenging the urban corner store is not and never has been our goal. Corner stores have been fixtures of the neighborhoods for generations. They stock thousands of items and far more than we could ever fit in a few shelves. Challenging the urban corner store is not and never has been one of your goals? Who are you challenging then? The New England Patriots? Shibby? Are you challenging gender norms? Of course you're fucking challenging corner stores and actual bodegas. Do you have brain damage? How could you create a startup if you didn't actually... Jesus Christ, this guy's a terrible liar. You can't blame these two guys for wanting to make money by using their analytic brains to solve problems, because guess what? Robots, even in the form of boxes full of unperishable foodstuffs, are more efficient than humans. But the problem is, as bitter and independent as humans claim to be, we crave human contact. A lot of the people that were up in arms about this whole bodega tear fest are New Yorkers, who are supposedly the toughest, grittiest people on the planet. And believe me, they'll remind you every chance they get that they're from Yonkers or from Jersey, which is New York adjacent. I hate everybody involved in this story. I hate the people crying that a company's trying to change their precious cities. I hate the two guys who are in damage control mode and doing it terribly, pretending they're not doing what they're actually trying to do. And I hate that every single story I've read is treating this like it's some racist genocide on the corner store. Because I bet that a lot of the people who are mad about this have no problem using Amazon, which has probably killed a significant portion of local jobs and brick and mortar stores in their cities or hometown. Maybe they'll join me in my new startup called Hypocrite, where we choose to get enraged about something low stakes and convenient, such as Bodega. I get that these New Yorkers are crying foul that two tech bros want to replace their corner stores with automated boxes. But let the free market decide whether people actually want these instead of the actual bodegas. Let the guys install bodegas everywhere, don't use them, and then they're going to go bankrupt and want to kill themselves. And then you'll win. And you can buy an expired Almond Joy without a robot box judging you. It'll be the guy you're used to or the lady, or you're like, see ya, and she'll be like, get the fuck out of my store. Wait, were you stealing? Was he stealing?
Wow. Whew.
Bad optics.
Bad optics.
It's just digging the hole that you're already standing in. Fun.
Well, anyway, here's a few quick updates to previous stories we covered. Like last week's big Equifax hack that has put the personal information of over half of Americans' adults at risk. Also, a few people in Canada and the UK. We can't forget them. People got a little mad about that. Yeah. So, anyway, last week, Equifax, they were blaming the Apache Struts web framework that was used on their website for the hack. Turns out they weren't wrong, but they still have no right to cast any blame here because they had 2 full months to patch a known vulnerability. They just didn't do it.
Another of Equifax's garbage security practices was revealed last week when it came out that their website in Argentina had its administrator login set to admin.
Oh.
And also the password was admin.
Oh.
Fun. That would have granted an intruder access to employee accounts and passwords, as well as the personal data of anyone in Argentina who had ever submitted a credit dispute, including their DNI number, which is the Social Security equivalent. There really isn't anything to say about this except fuck these stupid assholes.
Yeah. Oh, remember back in August when there was a car spotted driving around Arlington, Virginia with no driver, scaring the bejesus out of people until one intrepid reporter with the news, dude, he approached the car and he saw that it was actually being driven by a human disguised as a seat. Well, turns out the people's initial theories were true. No, it was not a prank. It was actually an experiment, a social experiment, if you will, conducted by Virginia Tech's autonomous car department to see how people would react to a car without a driver. Turns out it was actually done in collaboration with Ford, and they were specifically testing a way for cars to communicate with pedestrians and actual human drivers using patterns of lights.
This doesn't make any fucking sense because if it actually happened, people would be like, oh, Ford released their autonomous car.
Yeah.
If you see the one that looks like that, because, hey, for the most part, new cars do look somewhat different.
Yeah.
If you see that car, it don't freak out because it's autonomous.
I don't know how they expected people to react to something they didn't know about.
Oh, is this one of those magic of a hat pranks? He's going to go through a drive-thru and freak them out. They basically came up with various light patterns, going back to the tech in the car, meant for stuff like, I'm stopping and you can cross the crosswalk, I won't kill you. They recorded people's reactions to see if any of them worked particularly well. I could only assume that a lot of people were freaked out or were calling the cops.
Yeah.
They're also apparently testing similar things with audio as well. Ford released a cute little video about the whole program that is quite different from the Twitter videos from last month of confused onlookers, instead mainly showing people being just delighted with the whole situation.
Hey, look, that car's got no driver. Isn't that cute?
That doesn't make sense because if it has no driver, who are you reacting to?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they thought this one out very well.
These people are paid actors.
Yeah. Oh, real quick, researchers in the US, South Korea, Japan, and Scotland, an international team of experts, they've finally come up with a reason for smart glasses like the Google Glass to exist. Their smart glasses pick up on the movements of your nose, allowing you to control all sorts of stuff on your phone or computer using simple gestures like flicking your nose, rubbing your nose, tapping your nose, and so on. They're calling their invention Itchy Nose. And it's discreet, baby. About as discreet as a crippling cocaine addiction.
Yeah.
You walk around, what are you doing? Should we do an intervention? No, I'm changing the song on my iPod.
And finally, here's something actually cool. A website that allows you to upload a JPEG of your face, or any face, and just a minute later get a pretty accurate 3D model of it that you can flip around or even download a 3D file of. It's pretty cool, and thanks to an AI that developers fed a ton of different faces to in order to train it to how to map 2D pixels to turn into 3D face shapes, regardless of the lighting or the facial expression. See, AI, it can have fun. It's not just telling you how to make bombs.
Yeah, just don't give AI the keys to the house.
Yeah.
Or to Twitter. They'll troll.
Yeah. If you give the AI the keys to the house, a thief will show up and be like, I live here. And you're like, well,
You
of
live
course
here.
you do. You live here. Come on
right in. Here's the ingredients you need to make a bomb.
Yeah. Would you like to make a bomb?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that's our show this week, and thanks again to this week's sponsoring advertiser, Bluehost. They are a top-rated website provider that powers over 2 million websites. They've got everything you need to build a website you've always wanted, and they give you the freedom to design your website your way without being limited by templates. It's simple enough for beginners and powerful enough for the most advanced users.
And with Bluehost 24/7 tech support, online resources, and expert services, you'll have all the help you need to succeed and save time. Bluehost says they're the best tool to build, host, and manage your website, and now you guys, our viewers, can get 50% off when you sign up at bluehost.com/tech2s. That's TECHTUES. Again, bluehost.com/tech2s.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it for today. Check out an episode of News Dump from this past weekend, and also a live episode of the Monday Show where we watched the Emmys, sort of, so you didn't have to.
We watched it in clips on the internet on Monday morning.
Like a real millennial.
Like most Americans.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.